You want to talk about Albert Goering?
Let's go to Albert Goering. Let's do that. There we go. Yeah. Right.
So, this dude, if you bring him up, also bring up his picture. I'm looking at it on my laptop now. Bring it up on the big screen.
There we go.
This guy's picture. Zoom in on that. He already looks like a legend. He looks like Walt Disney, but
Crossed
somehow
with Salvador
even cooler.
Dali.
Dude, that's exactly it. He looks like a cross between Walt Disney and Salvador Dali. Am I just terrible identifying people's images? Because I was just like, what's his face? Richard Attenborough looks like Marlon Brando. But this guy, he was based, so obviously he's the brother of Herman Goering, who's kind of the architect of the Holocaust. This guy who was, what does it say? German engineer, businessman, and the younger brother of, was he the architect of the Holocaust? Maybe that was some other dude.
He was. Yeah, he was.
He was also head of the German Luftwaffe. And obviously his brother, leading member of the Nazi party. So this guy, they come from the same backgrounds, all of this stuff. They have this privileged upbringing. All the stuff goes on, blah, blah, blah. We actually I made a biographics video about Herman Goering. He's a proper dick. Like, really also, not just satisfying himself and his own power, but also like a really, racist and an unpleasant person.
One of those proper bad eggs. Proper one.
Yeah, so basically, also you see this picture of him like smoking a cigarette from that cool cigarette holder.
Let's go back to that.
Wikipedia describes him as he acquired his godfather's character of bon vivant, which wasn't a phrase I was particularly familiar with, but it basically just means someone who enjoys the good life.
Yep.
So it's like smoking cigarettes out of cigarette holders, drinking too much, eating too much.
What are you doing? I'm being a bon vivant.
Anyway, he lives this unremarkable life. He's a bit of a filmmaker. But then the Nazis come to power. And while his brother's like, yeah, I'm super into Nazism. Let's get it, that's pretty awesome. He's like, no, I despise this. This is a terrible idea. And there's all of these kind of, Wikipedia says it itself. And I find Wikipedia will often include anecdotal stories. But here they're like, there are anecdotal stories and we're not going to include them, which is kind of nice because they're just anecdotal. But basically, some of them are like, okay, but he's like super helping the Jews and all of this stuff. But here's one. He says, Albert is reported to have joined a group of Jewish women that had been forced to scrub the street. The SS officer in charge inspected his identification and ordered the group's scrubbing activities to stop after realizing he could be held responsible for allowing Herman Goering's brother to be publicly humiliated. And Herman Goering...
Genius.
Yeah, but Herman Goering knows all this shit's going on. And he's like, oh, God damn it, Albert. Can't you just be a good Nazi? Like, just fall into line. Nazism's great.
Do what you got to do, and I think that's beautiful because he's not done any actual sabotage. He's done nothing wrong. There's nothing can be fought back from on that.
Well, so far, and then he goes to concentrate. Yeah, he goes to concentration camps, and he's like, "Hey, I need workers," and they're like, "For what?" And he's like, "It doesn't matter. I'm Goering. I'm a Goering. You know my brother, old Hermy, like You know him. He's your boss.
Well, it's a bit of a Schindler situation. A bit, sort of. Yeah.
Dude, Schindler's a character.
Yeah.
Did a biographics video on my biography channel about him. This guy, the movies and stuff, no, they don't. But it's like his playboy lifestyle and his self-servingness was like super hardcore. Yeah. Like he was really into like, this is for me.
Did they play it down in the
looking
movie?
Out for number one a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's great in the end. And he's like, okay, we'll save all these people. Let's do that. But he was kind of, he was a bit of a Nazi and all of this stuff.
Yeah, well, he was, wasn't he? He was. And, it's I never realized all the lifts, the Schindler elevator lifts are still around. Like, they're all his. That's
what do you mean? Oh, is that?
Yeah,
no.
God, no, what do you call it?
Schindler lifts are by the Schindler company?
Are by the Schindler company, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
There you go.
I went to, I wanted to go, I went to the location of Schindler's factory in Krakow in Poland, and where his Jews were working, and I showed up and there was a huge queue, and I've made a tactical error. Apparently they only let so many people in per day, and you need to book ahead and all of this stuff, and I should have looked it up, so I didn't actually go in the end. But I would like to go. I'd go back and see that. Anyway, his activities escalate, and so he'd just show up. He'd take these people out of concentration camp, and he'd say, I got to take them to the Skoda Works in Czechoslovakia, I think was one of the places. And then he'd just let them out. They drive away from the concentration camp, and he goes, "You're free. Make a run for it.
Here's a car.
Go for it."
That's incredible. It's incredible how two brothers can just be so different. Like, have such differing political ideas.
And it's not like they were separated at birth or
No.
anything.
Brought up in the same family, the same house, everything. It's absolutely mad.
Yeah. And it's like nature versus nurture, but then their nature and their nurture are super similar, but one of them's just a dick and one of them isn't.
And what happened to him? Did he?
Oh, dude, I don't know. Of course, we got to talk about what happened to him, but it's like, oh, okay, because your brother was Herman Goering, he's basically shunned just because his name is Goering, and then he finds work as a writer and translator. He lives in a modest flat, and he grew up rich, remember? So all that's now gone.
Yeah. Because of course he was having problems, wasn't he? Because of the name.
Yeah,
so
just because of the name.
Just because of the name, like he. Did you know? Little side note. Hitler's family have a deal that
not to have kids.
Yeah, they're killing off the bloodline, and there's 2 uncles I think left, and 2 cousins, and they've said when we die that'll be the end of the Hitler bloodline.
Yeah.
Because they've always had the same problem that because of their name they are shunned to this day.
Didn't they move to America? Am I imagining that?
I think there was always the question: did they move to South America?
No, well, the Nazis moved to South, but these weren't war criminals. These weren't Nazis. They were just people who unfortunately happened to be related to Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not sure.
We're not sure, and we can't look it up right now.
We will look into that and cover it at a later date.
Yeah, we could do a follow up on. Well, I was looking into like the Nazi families, right? Like, because they had kids and stuff, and amongst all these kids. So, who was it? Was it his kid? I made a note about this. As children of Nazis, so there were kind of 3 notable children of the Nazis. Did I not put a link to them? Was his kid cool?
Was his kid cool?
Oh, come on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they basically, one of them, I don't think it was Goering's kid, because Goering, I don't want to say Goering was too much of a legend. What's his actual name? Albert Goering was a legend. Yeah. His kid, I think, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. One of them turned out to be like a far right and is still alive, or really recently died, and was like a Nazi apologist her whole life. Is an apologist the person who's, says it was good? Because she was like, yeah, Nazism was awesome. My father's legacy should be restored. And it's like, your father was like a leading war criminal. Really? This is the line you want to go for?
You should be put away.
Yeah, and so she got involved with all sorts of far-right activities. There was one person who just never talked about it. And the other one, I think it was Albert Speer, because he was an architect. Albert Speer's kid became a notable architect in his own right and like led a pretty good, non-Nazi... was like non-Nazi life.
Well, it's I think the thing is you've got to escape that void of.
I feel like one of the first things I would do.
Change your name.
You change your name. If there was like John Whistler, my grandfather, who was a war criminal, I'd be like, guess what? Better change my name.
I'll be John Yorner.
John anything but Whistler.